This is the new Amazfit Balance 3, and I think this is going to be my new full-time watch, even though I just got the OnePlus Watch 4. Thanks for tuning in to another video, and let me show you what is in the box. Okay, so it looks like I shook it loose. Actually looks pretty nice. Actually, it feels pretty heavy and solid. And let's see, we got our usual books, right? A warning. I'm just going to ignore the warning. And then this is our charger, which is standard on all the new Amazfit products, and you get a USB-C to charge it. But there is no cord in here. But of course, we got our strap. I almost forgot about that. Let's see if I can get it out. Why is this in here so tight? I don't know. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, let's power this on. So let's talk about what's new on this. So this is the stainless steel version of the Balance 3, which is $370 in the United States, but it also does come in a titanium version, which will set you back $450. Ouch. And I still buy all my Amazfit products, and I'm proud to say that I am not sponsored by Amazfit. Well, I'm not really proud to say that. If they offered, I would probably accept. So Amazfit, if you're listening or watching, please call me. Let me just show you the design here. So this is the Balance 3 on the right. This is the Balance 2 over here. And I think the Balance 3 has a little bit of a more rugged design, but not that different. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit there. Then we got the same thing over here, basically. Okay, so let me pair this. You probably don't need to see that. So let me just pair this, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay, I told you I'd get back to this side over here. We got 2 buttons, which is an improvement over the Balance 2 because it doesn't have them, obviously. But most Amazfit watches with the 4 buttons, you got another one down here, don't have the rotating crown. So it's really nice that the Balance 3 here has 4 buttons because this will function as a button. And you also get the rotating crown, so you don't have to give up anything. And if you watch any of my videos, you know I'm really not a button person. I do like some sort of rotating crown on this. But I'll just tell you right away, just playing around with this for just a few moments here, the rotating crown doesn't work as good as I would have thought. So let's just get into something here. And it's just a little slow. You do get a little haptic feedback when you rotate it, but it doesn't move very quick. And it kind of has a very high drag on it, so you can't kind of roll through it. You have to work to move it, which might have to do with the water resistance or you know what they did with this. But it's just not as quick as I would like. But that might be able to be fixed. I don't know. You can see here I'm rotating it, but it's not doing anything. So it's not as responsive as I would have liked. So that is a big negative right here. Oh boy. And like if you look at, we'll just go, this is the OnePlus Watch 4, which I'll be reviewing more. I mean, this almost goes too fast. I'm just lightly touching it. And you can see how fast I can go through the apps. I can't do that on this at all. I mean, that is not working out as good as I thought. Okay, so that's a little, that takes the wind out of my sails for this video, but let's keep going. Now, the thing I was really looking forward to is, believe it or not, the flashlight. So if you just push this button here, you could also get it in the quick toggles either way. So the little quick toggle there, or you just push this top button here and hold it, you get your flashlight. So I'll show you this in action in my full review in like a dark room and show you how bright it is. But here we go. And I mean, let me just get to the brightest. I mean, this is pretty darn bright. And then you also do have that red one. There you go. And now we're just going to shut this down by just pushing and hold this. And I'm just going to show you here, there's also an SOS feature. And also, that's kind of cool. The quick toggle shows you that the last setting was on the red light. So when you do turn it on again, it's going to turn on the red light. But that's kind of cool. And so let me just show you the SOS here. If you hit this, you get a white light, but then you could also hit it and get the red light to go on. And there you go. And it just blinks like that. And then we could just shut that off. This does look and feel like a great watch. Feels nice and weighty and feels very well built, except for this rotating crown. I'm going to have an issue with that. But I'll see if that, again, if that gets updated or what happens with that. But just also to let you know, Amazfit here has made some very big price increases lately. So there is a big price difference between their traditional budget watches, which is kind of how they made a name for themselves, and their premium watches. And there's not a lot in between. Right now on the Amazfit website, there is nothing in between $170 and $300, which is a very big gap. The premium watches have really launched off in prices. So like I said, it feels like a really nice watch, but is it worth $370? Or this is the stainless steel, and if you get the titanium, it's going to go up to $450. So quite a bit of a jump there. Okay, so I just changed the watch face here, and I do have a 7.5-inch wrist, so you can see what this looks like on me. It actually doesn't stand out as much as some of the other watches, and it does feel a little weighty. I don't know the exact weight, but this is pretty heavy. It doesn't bother me because I do like big, heavy watches, but if you have any kind of issue or a smaller wrist, this may not be the watch for you. You do get a 1.5-inch AMOLED display here, which is covered by sapphire crystal, which is always nice. And you want to know the resolution? It's 480 by 480, so everything's going to look real sharp on this. Amazfit did make a change to their watch navigation, which I really don't like. So if you scroll over, you're going to get into your exercises. And then if you scroll over this way, you get into your apps instead of your widgets. So there is no widgets here. It's just this thing here. And if I hit this button, it's going to open up the exercises, whereas it usually opens up the apps. Now, a lot of the stuff you can customize and change, but that's just where we are. We got the quick toggles down here, and it does look much better than on previous Amazfit watches. I think the Bip Max is the first one that had this. We have a list here that actually looks like an app list, and you don't have to scroll back left and right at all. It's just up and down, and you can scroll through all your quick toggles very quickly, which is, I think, very nice, and it looks real sharp. And then if you scroll up, you're going to get into your shortcut cards, which is basically like your widgets. But I just would like to have the option of the widgets if I wanted to. But you could scroll here, and this you could all update and customize and edit. So this is actually really nice because you could also scroll through them very quickly. Let me see. See, this rotating crown is just really not... Oh my goodness, this is just terrible. I don't know what's going on with this. This is just not doing anything here. I'm rotating it, and it barely moves. So not loving that. And let's get back to the screen here just for a minute. This will go up to 3,000 nits of brightness. And I'll show you what this looks like outside of my full review. Another big selling point of the Balance 3 is the navigation features. You're going to get offline maps with this. You're going to get turn-by-turn direction. You're going to get automatic rerouting, which is kind of a feature reserved just for the premium watches, which this definitely is, but that is a difference over the budget watches. The points of interest search, which is not available on the budget watches, and then the round-trip route creation, which again is not available on the budget watches, and then you also do get dual-band GPS. So let me just show you here. You do get, your offline maps here. I didn't put any maps on the watch yet, so you won't be able to see anything. But let me just start an exercise here. And let me just show you the navigation features. So you can import GPX files on this, and you can create the routes very quickly in the Zep app. I'll show you that in either my tips and tricks video or my full review. You can save a location if you want. You could navigate to a location. You could save a location. You could explore nearby. So I don't have a GPS signal here because I'm in my lead-line studio. So if I did have a GPS signal and it did know where I was, it would give me some POI. So it will show you like coffee shops, gas stations, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. And it will route you to the POI that you pick, which is really nice. Automatic route creation, this probably won't work either. Okay. But for this one, you could just put in how far do you want to go. You say, hey, I want to go for 10 miles. And you could also specify if you want to go east, west, north, or south. And it will create a route for you for that distance. And then you could just follow it because it will give you turn-by-turn directions the whole way along. And again, if you navigate off of that route, it will redirect you. Whereas on some of the budget Amazfit watches, it will just say you're no longer on your route, and it will just tell you how far you are from your route. But the Balance 3 will automatically navigate you back to where you were going. And just from what I can see here quickly, the Balance 3 has all the navigations of the T-Rex and the Cheetah lines. So you're not missing out anything on here with the Balance 3. And this is actually a little cheaper than some of the T-Rex watches and definitely the Cheetah watches. And I just put this watch face on here so you could see the bezels. It's actually pretty, the actual black bezel is very tiny. But of course we have this outside bezel that you can see, which takes up a lot of the space. But it does look like a pretty sharp watch, I think. But the Balance 3 is using the same BioTracker 6.0 sensor that was in the Balance 2. So no upgrade there, but I had no issues with the Balance 2 data tracking. The Balance 3 also gets a HybridCharge. Let me show you that. Okay, so this is in the Zepp app. Okay, we got a system update. Maybe that's why the Crown wasn't running very well. You know, maybe it was updating. Let's hope, because I'm a little disappointed on this. Okay, so let me see if I can get into the, get off of the screen. No, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, so I guess I have to wait 8 minutes to finish my video. So I'll cut this out. Okay, so now it's about 8 minutes later, and I'm resuming my video, and hopefully I have my thoughts still about me. But here is the Zepp app. I wanted to show you the HybridCharge, which I want to call HyperCharge, and I probably will several times during the video. This is the overview of what you get every day. Now, I do have some data from a Bitmax that I wore a little while ago, but obviously I just put the Balance 3 on just right now. But you can see you do get a lot of data on the Zepp app and from the watch here. I'll just show you what is available, and this you could all customize and move around. So I'll show you that in the tips and tricks video or the full review. But this is the HybridCharge right here. Again, there's no data from last night, but this is something that they added is the life load record. So basically after you wake up or after you do an exercise, you could put in how you feel and fill out some stuff. And then the HybridCharge will actually take that into account. And this is a new feature that will probably come down to a lot of the other Amazfit watches, but right now the Balance 3 does have it. And it combines your life load, which I just talked about, the BioCharge, which replaced the readiness score, prior to that, if you're familiar with some older Amazfit watches. And it also does include the training load in its calculations. And basically it's designed to give you better training and recovery information. So I'm in the settings menu here, and I just wanted to show you one more thing. But before I do that, I wanted to show you the rotating crown. I think it's just an issue of maybe I was going too fast, because if you go too fast, it doesn't go anywhere. Or it doesn't keep up, basically. But if I go slower, then it does move fast. And so I think it's just a matter of getting the right speed down for the movement. But again, again, I can go fast here, and it just doesn't do anything. But, and I'll try not to there we go. I mean, it's rotating under my finger, believe it or not. It's just not really going anywhere. But if I go slowly, then I can move it very quickly. So that might take a little bit of getting used to. But I did want to show you here. And also you do get the golf app, which was on the Balance 2. And I don't think any other watch has it. It's just the Balance 2 and the Balance 3. So if you're an avid golfer, that is a great feature. And it is actually very detailed. I didn't use it for golfing, but I went through the app and it does give you a lot of information. But let me keep going here. So let's go to System. I wanted to show you the memory that was available. So I'm just going to go into About. And let's see here. There you go, available storage. So it's 64 gigabytes is what's listed, but obviously you have the operating software and other stuff in there. So you're left with 55 gigabytes, which I think is plenty. And you can put all your music on here and your playlist and all that kind of stuff. You can pair your earbuds with this, and then you can leave your phone at home and just use your watch. Now, the only con of this, or so far, besides the rotating crown, but there is no LTE version on this, so you have to have your phone connected through Bluetooth, and the phone has to be nearby for you to make any phone calls or to get any notifications or anything like that. So that is a nice option to have that extra memory. I mean, it's always better to have more memory than not. So that is nice that they did upgrade to 64 gigabytes from the 32 that was on the Balance 2. And I can't believe I didn't talk about the battery yet. You're going to get the same battery life as the Balance 2, which is up to 21 days. And I don't remember what I got for the Balance 2, but I don't think I got that much. But still, I mean, if you're going to get 2.5, almost 3 weeks of battery life on a watch, that is really amazing, especially for all the features that you get on this. Keep in mind, like a Wear OS watch or an Apple Watch, I mean, they're measured in just a couple of days. And, you're charging every other day sometimes. Now, I wrote down in here that I was, in my outline, that I was going to say I was very excited to use this watch. But I'm a little less excited about this because of the rotating crown. Let me see how I adjust to this. And stay tuned for my full review, and I'll give you some more information about it. Plus, I'll have some tips and tricks videos for this watch to show you what's available. So if you're excited about this watch, let me know in the comments. What do you think about this so far? Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you on the next video.